Right, back with closing trades and its earnings season. Let's get in Sanjeev Bajaj to speak about how the quarter went for them. Really good having you, Sanjeev. Thanks so much for joining in. Neeraj here.
Good afternoon.
Put the quarter into perspective. I mean, I think a lot will happen probably over the next 2 or 3 quarters, and I'll ask you questions about that as well because of the policy changes. But how was this quarter for you?
You know, this quarter has been fairly strong considering that the overall economy has still been slow. So if you actually look at Bajaj Finserv and look at our consolidated income from operations, it's up 28% to 1,629 crores. And our profit after tax consolidated again is up 14% to 319 crores. And this has been supported by once again strong profit growth in our in our general insurance business, where we've seen a 30% growth in PAT to 130 crores, a 20% increase in PAT in Bajaj Finance to 211 crores, while the life business has been flat. So overall strong performance on general insurance and Bajaj Finance, which is contributed to the growth in this quarter.
Sanjeev, so the slightly flat news first. You mentioned that the premiums in the life insurance business have remained flat, both YOY basis, and new business premium as well as renewal premium has actually declined YOY, and correct me if I'm wrong here. Why has this happened? Correct. And how do the quarters ahead move like?
Correct. So if you actually see this quarter, as you know, the new regulations on traditional products and life insurance came out in Jan. So the fourth quarter of last year actually saw our gross premiums go down nearly 18%, and our new business premium went down over 30%. To that extent, we are seeing the drop actually starting to moderate, with both new business premium and gross premium being down only 10%. So new business premium actually has gone down to about 394 crores, whereas you have 796 crores, which is the gross premium in the particular quarter. So while again, one summer does not a swallow make, we have to wait over the next few quarters also to see, do we slowly start coming back to at least flat growth and then start seeing positive growth or not. But I'm hopeful that especially if the economy picks up from the last quarter of this year, we should start seeing positive growth.
Even the general insurance business, Sanjeev, good afternoon, Tanvi here, saw a decent growth in profits, actually very impressive. What have been the key drivers here, and if you could throw some more light on the premium growth?
Sure, Tanvi. So if you see, we have actually in gross premium only grown 7% compared to, say, the previous year. The first half of the previous year, the industry is going at 15-16%. Now there are two reasons why actually top line growth is subdued. One, a large part of the industry insurance is motor car insurance. And we know that now motor car sales are slowly starting to increase. Otherwise, those have been subdued the last so many quarters, and that's contributed to a lower growth. The other thing that we have seen is we've suddenly seen in the last few months, the government-owned general insurance companies starting to play a very heavy price discounting game to try and get market share, and we have consciously focused more on the retail side of the business. So as a result, the profit is not affected, and that's why while our gross premium is up 7%, our profit is up 30%. One additional important factor is till last year, till 13-14, we were still adjusting the old motor premium losses. So last year was about 130 crores. This year in the first quarter, now there is no such additional provisioning required for the past. So as a result, that also helps boost up the profit for the quarter.
You would have expected this question from me, Sanjeev, this FDR hike in insurance. Now, is there any move at all or any communication or any thought in the first place of a hike by your partner in the arm?
It's still very early days, so no, there is no communication yet, but that doesn't mean there won't be any. We have to wait for firstly the act to get passed. We have to see what rules come up in FIPB, and I'm sure then our partner on that basis will decide whether to take it forward or no, and will engage with us. We have great relations with Allianz. Along with us, we have together built what I think are two superb companies. Both deserve equal credit at least for it, but we'll wait and see what happens. We still have enough time.
And that having said, just one final question. I mean, you mentioned at the opening statement about how the Bajaj Finance numbers have looked good too, and they have been strong. Do you believe the strength that you exhibited for that aspect of the business could continue in the next 2 or 3 quarters?
You know, while the numbers have been strong in this situation, if you actually see the last 3 or 4 quarters, they have been falling a little bit. So we have seen, for example, in our two-wheeler financing, our numbers are down. Construction equipment financing is significantly down. And so that's a business that we put on hold for some time, and we have decided that in the current circumstance, it doesn't make sense to lend further in this business line. On the other hand, we have seen our SME business grow reasonably well, as well as consumer durable financing. So overall, I would say that while excuse me, the growth has been very reasonable, but it has been trending downwards, and that is a bit of a worry. We do hope that this economy starts picking up again, and we start going back to growth rates even higher than the 20% that we have seen right now in profit.
So, Sanjeev, before we thank you, you've spoken about each of these individual businesses. For the next 3 quarters, I'm not actually looking at a 5-year horizon. For the next 3 quarters, which is FY15 or possibly extended to FY16, is this the state of things to come, that you do a decent enough growth in the general insurance and the Bajaj Finance numbers, and life insurance continues to amble along? Or is there something out of the box that could happen which could provide a big fillip to how the company as a whole would perform?
You know, if I was driving from Pune to Bombay, it's easier for me to show the direction over the next 2 hours rather than to tell you whether the next traffic light is going to be red or green. So what the next 2-3 quarters are going to be is always more difficult than directionally where we will be in the next 2-3 years. Having said that, as far as top line growth is concerned, yes, I expect things to be where they are, and hopefully I would say by the end of the year, maybe the 4th quarter, for things to improve. But that's a hope right now.
Well, that's a fair point. Only thing is, I would have probably also asked you that whether you will actually drive down from Pune to Bombay, or would you rather fly down and come very, very quickly. But nevertheless, that's maybe for some other time, Sanjeev. Decent numbers. Thanks so much for joining in and putting all of that into perspective. As always, very candidly.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining in. It's Sanjeev Bajaj.
Good numbers. I mean, every quarter I think they pretty much impress the street with their outperformance, both on the top line and the bottom line. And now, of course, there's a shot in the arm in terms of hiking the insurance limit as well for FDI. So let's see what happens. Just getting a quick perspective on